So, internet wrestling community, what do you want to talk about? I know what I want to talk about. That's how creative has failed Cody Rhodes as WWE Champion. Because it does seem to be this sentiment on at least growing amongst the online crowd about Cody Rhodes as champion. People are tired of Cody as champion, and they're tired of the booking, yada yada yada. And I have to agree. And I don't think it's Cody's fault. I think if you go back to the rumor of Wrestlepalooza, where the idea was Randy Orton was going to accidentally, I don't know why I did that with one, accidentally cost Cody the title, like, okay, why wouldn't you do that finish? Especially because Wrestlepalooza was made out to be this big deal. And hell, they brought AJ Lee back out of retirement for Wrestlepalooza for the sake of selling ESPN subscriptions, and we haven't seen AJ Lee since. And where's Randy Orton? We haven't seen Randy Orton either, who is supposed to have been a part of this big storyline between Cody and Drew McIntyre, and we haven't seen Randy Orton since. Hell, even Saturday night's main event, where Cody could have lost the title to Drew McIntyre via disqualification, we still didn't get Randy Orton. We got Cody winning by DDT and Drew McIntyre on the championship when the referee wasn't looking. But the point is, the WWE right now is not giving Cody the best from a creative standpoint. I think it is safe to assume that at this point, as WWE Champion, that it is possible that Cody Rhodes has peaked as a main eventer in the WWE, which is kind of crazy to think about, but it does seem as if he has peaked. And you could go back to last year when he finished the story. He beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40. Was that his peak? Did Cody Rhodes peak when he beat Roman Reigns for the championship to finish the story? Because you look at that from a creative perspective, everything that happened afterwards kind of left us wanting more. They didn't do a whole lot with Cody Rhodes. And you go back to the Raw after WrestleMania 40, where they essentially handcuffed Cody to The Rock. The Rock was like, "Hey, Cody, when I return, I'm gonna come for you." And then, oh yeah, let's do an awkward belt swap thing. But it gave us as fans the impression that, oh, Cody versus The Rock is going to happen at some point, and we still haven't gotten that. And then we flash forward to the Elimination Chamber this year. We have this big deal of the Rock wanting Cody Rhodes to give him his soul, but Cody refuses. John Cena turns heel for the first time in over 2 decades. And then The Rock decided to disappear, and then that kind of hoodwinked Cody and John Cena. So there is some part where there is, from a creative perspective, where The Rock kind of left them hanging in terms of a storyline because, again, when you go back to where he finished the story, and you had The Rock say, "Hey, when I come back, I'm coming for you," it kind of gave us a sense that Cody was not in really any real danger of losing the title until he was facing The Rock or until Roman Reigns came back. And even when Roman Reigns came back at SummerSlam in 2024, we still kind of didn't even get a match. Like, we didn't get any more tension between Roman and Cody. They tag teamed at Bad Blood, and then The Rock came back out and did the whole this, and we still never really understood what that was supposed to mean. So a lot of Cody's first run as champion, he was handcuffed because of the impression, the idea that, oh, The Rock is going to be going for the championship at some point. But that never happened. Now, I do think it is on creative, it is on Triple H at a certain point when, if what The Rock said was true, where he told Cody, he told John Cena, hey, my work done here. I don't need to be involved beyond the Elimination Chamber. Then that goes back to Triple H to where, okay, if The Rock is actually done, then how do we work around that from a creative perspective? And they kind of just left the door open. The idea that The Rock would come back. Maybe Triple H was hoping that maybe The Rock would show up at some point to wrap things up, or at least put it on a perspective of why John Cena did what he did and why he wanted Cody's soul, yada yada yada. But it just seems like to me, Cody as champion, from a creative standpoint, it's one of those things where they know how to get there, and this has been a staple of the Triple H era from a creative standpoint, where they know how to create the big moments to get to where they want to go. They know how to write everything leading up to that big viral moment that WWE loves to have. They love talking about these big viral moments. But a lot of the problem has been the follow up. There's been a lack of follow up to a lot of storylines that really has left us as fans disappointed because we're not kind of seeing the follow up in these big storylines. So I don't necessarily think Cody Rhodes right now is a problem. I think it's just more so his booking, so to speak, where he's trapped in the mindset of where Seth Rollins was back in 2023. Because when Seth Rollins won the newly World Heavyweight Championship, there was a couple times where people said, okay, he can lose to Finn Balor at SummerSlam. Finn Balor can get his win back from SummerSlam 2016. Then Seth beat Finn Balor. Shinsuke Nakamura came around, and he had this great new character. And people said, oh, Shinsuke can get the title for a little bit, and then you can give the title back to Seth. Because, again, that's, I feel like, has been the number one thing among fans, is if the WWE is bent on a certain person being the champion of WrestleMania, people have said, okay, well, have them win the title back, beforehand, like at the Royal Rumble or something. And people were like, oh, Seth Rollins can lose to Finn Balor. Oh, Shinsuke's got this cool new character, let's put the title on him. And then they don't do it. It's like Triple H is stuck in this mindset of where we need to have long title runs. And it's kind of hurts the product, and it kind of hurts, I think, the champions as a whole. Even if they did want Seth to be the champion of WrestleMania 40, you still could have at least given Shinsuke or Finn a world title run and just had Seth win it back, say at the Royal Rumble or Survivor Series or whatever, instead of him holding on to it all the way through WrestleMania. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing Cody Rhodes, where I think some could argue, I think, he could have lost to Kevin Owens, but obviously, too close to WrestleMania. But and obviously everything that happened with Kevin Owens with the injury, but it's one of those things where people said, "Oh, he can lose the title to Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens can drop the title back to Cody." That seems to be the settlement that I see among the fans is so and so can lose a title, but they can win it back later, and that's kind of where the Cody Rhodes situation is, because Cody is a better chaser than he is a champion, bar none. And again, that goes back to being a creative issue, where creative has simply failed their top star, the face of the company, the face of the WWE in this new era. You know, creatively, they have not done much to give Cody Rhodes this big championship feud that makes him or puts a stamp on his title run. And they've had a chance, I think, with Drew McIntyre recently to do exactly what I've said. Many fans thought they should have done with Seth Rollins, was have Drew win the title from Cody. But if you are bent on Cody winning back the title and being the champion at WrestleMania, have him win it back at the Royal Rumble or something. That way, he can still be the champion by WrestleMania, but you've at least shaken things up, tried something new, and at least try to maybe get Cody back to where he's best at, and that's chasing the championship. And so Cody Rhodes right now is kind of in a place where he's winning matches where he should maybe be losing them, like WrestlePalooza, first big show on ESPN. That was the perfect opportunity. You want to be, you're on this new platform. You want all these people to switch over to ESPN. Why not crown a new champion? Why not tell people, hey, subscribe over here, watch the PLEs because you never know what will happen. But they let Cody win. And again, we go back to the rumored WrestlePalooza finish. Like, why? Why would you turn that down when you're on a new platform and you're trying to get people to subscribe to this new platform to watch your show? At the very least, crown a new champion and be like, you know what? Anything can happen, right? So, there's at least has to be a threat that the champion could lose. And simply put, there has really never been that for Cody Rhodes except for John Cena. I don't think we're going to get to the point where we were with AEW, where the fans started booing Cody Rhodes. I don't think that's going to happen in WWE. But I do think, after WrestleMania next year, I do think it would be a big help if Cody Rhodes steps away from the main event scene in 2026. And yeah, some might say, well, he's your top draw, your top guy, your top merch seller, yada, yada, yada. But he's been in that spot for the last couple of years. I mean, look at Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns realistically should be fighting for a world title, right? You would think the guy coming off who lost his championship after 1,316 days would be like, hey, I want my rematch, or I should be at least be feuding for the world championship. And we have not seen Roman Reigns in a title match since WrestleMania 40 when he lost to Cody Rhodes. And yeah, I know Seth Rollins getting injured, everything that probably threw a wrench into things, but again, Roman Reigns, you look at what he's doing. He's just kind of doing side quests. And I think at this point, to freshen things up, I think that's kind of what Cody Rhodes needs to do. I think Cody Rhodes from a booking perspective, just needs to go the Roman Reigns route where he's having high profile matches, but away from the WWE Championship picture. So to me, I think creative has failed Cody Rhodes 100%. Triple H has failed Cody Rhodes, and I will talk more about WWE's creative later this week on the channel, as I do want to talk about the booking of their women's division as a whole. So go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button, as I do produce weekly wrestling content here on this channel. So let me know in the comments below, do you guys think Cody Rhodes should step away from the main event scene in 2026? Has he overstayed his welcome? Has he peaked as a main eventer in WWE? Let me know in the comments below. I've been your host, Money Mike, and you've been watching Ringside Cinema.